Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've been following my channel, you know that I am mainly working on vehicles and electric power sport equipment, and I never do any reviews. I'm just doing diagnostics and repairs. So this is a really rare chance that I do review, and I decided to do it on this brand new 2025 CLA 350. This is an AMG line, and 4 cylinders, 2.0 turbo, 4matic. It drives really sharp. So my dealer gave me as a loaner vehicle and asked me if I want to trade in my E-Class, as some of you know that I have a Mercedes E250 2015 model diesel. And so I decided, well, let's try it, see what this CLA 350 can, if this car can be any better than my car. So as I said, this is a 2024-25 model, but it was manufactured in 24 in June and made in Hungary. Really nice quality seats, Alcantara I believe, and this one looks like a leather, but this is a imitation. Nice steering wheel, dashboard is stitched, as you can see. Side panels, everything is also Alcantara. Really feel expensive. Now, I'm not really a big fan of this piano, black piano panels, plastic. Plus, I can feel like all of this is a little bit shaking, moving, rattling. Well, it was not rattling when I was driving, but still. Same if I would push button right here, this entire panel can actually be, as you can see, it's not as fixed as on other vehicles, at least in my experience. I had quite a few Mercedes-Benz in my life, and but all of them were E-Class only. So this is the first time I am sitting on a basically C-Class, even though this is a CLA, like a sport car, but it's considered as a lower trim in my opinion, because E as a executive class. Well, it is what it is. 2025. Start with a push of a button. Really fancy dashboard panel with all of the touchscreen and everything. Pretty responsive, but you have to reach it every time. If you don't want to reach it, you can do it from here. I am not a big fan of, I'm sorry for this music, I still trying to figure out how everything works on a touch of a finger, but I am not a big fan of all of these touch sensors, to be honest with you. Even though the cruise control is not really touch sensing cruise control, you actually have to click it. So I guess they did it on purpose, so you don't accidentally activate it or cancel it, so you can actually press it. But the rest of the buttons are very sensitive and on a touch, which is I'm not a big fan of. The car has a AMG exhaust, so it's kind of, you can hear, I hope you can, maybe I should open the door. So yeah, it's a little bit loud, as it's supposed to be on a sport vehicle. And yeah, 8-speed transmission, guys. I wish that I had the same transmission, because I did not feel like this car was hunting for gears. So everything was very smooth, very fast. I did not test manual shifting option, because I never do, even on my vehicle. So I was just doing automatic, and it was pretty quick. So the fuel economy was about 28 miles per gallon. Now again, this is a brand new vehicle. 28 in the city, well, I guess it's okay. Probably they could do better because this is a mild hybrid vehicle. So let me open the hood. I think with such a small 4-cylinder engine, they could do a little bit better than 28-30 miles per gallon. But because of the turbo and because this is an all-wheel drive, I guess this is maximum what they could do for this vehicle. Everything is accessible to work on if ever happen that you need to work. But yeah, well, as you can see what's under the hood. For me as a technician, I like the accessibility of this engine and most of the components, so it's not very complicated to work on. Pretty much same as my diesel, I would say. Everything is accessible comparably to V6 or V8 engine. Yeah, this one has a AMG wheels. As you can see, has already some surface rust. Maybe it was sitting on the lot for a while. Low profile tires, 19s, 4matic turbo. Really sharp vehicle. Yes, it drives pretty quick. 302 horsepower. LED lighting. Well, but if you would ask me if I would trade this vehicle for my E250, even though that my vehicle is 10 years older vehicle than this, no, I would not trade in. Well, first of all, this car is pretty plain, even though it looks fancy and with all of the options, but this car does not have same options as my 10 years older car. I have a driver assistance package, which is helping me to steering assist, and there is a Disctronic Plus, which is a adaptive cruise control that I have, cross traffic alert I have, pedestrian alert, so blind spot assistant, you know, I have everything, well, that this car is missing actually. So for this kind of money of $57,000, actually I don't think that it's worth it for me to trade in my vehicle, even that they're willing to pay $20,000 for my vehicle. I have 90,000 miles on the odometer, and they asking me to pay the difference. Well, I did not like the way it drives. I mean, first of all, there's no driver assistant package. This is really important for me. And secondly, it just really hard ride comparably to my E-Class. So I did not like the way it handles. And I do understand this is a sport car, even though this is a 4-door passenger vehicle, and the seats are, as you can see, really sport shape, but the way it drives, it just basically like BMW. You kind of you have to drive this vehicle, not what I'm trying to say, that E-Class or S-Class will drive you. It's so comfortable and it will do everything for you. But this type of a sport vehicle, you actually have to drive this vehicle. You have to do all of the driving, and you have to do all of the control. So this car is not really helping you to drive itself. You have to take control over the steering, and you have to be careful on the corners because this car is pretty rough ride. Maybe some people will not agree with me with my conclusions or you know, review, but again, I'm not an expert of those sport vehicles. I drove quite a few Audi and BMWs before, and I like them too, but if I would buy them, that's a different story. I kind of like more luxury vehicles and feeling than sport vehicles. So yes, 19 size wheels are not the best for the comfort, but they are good for sport handling, I guess. Yeah, as you can see, this is a frameless type doors now, so there's no frames, and same on the front. If I'm really big fan of that, not really. Anyway, nice car, not extremely boring, but you have to be very focused all the time. I mean, you have to concentrate on the driving. You cannot relax as much as on the E-Class or S-Class, because those vehicles, they are handling with a, you know, comfort, and they are very predictable. This car is kind of put you in a stressing position that you have to think about every move what you do. Yeah, my car has only 202, I believe, 200 or 203 horsepower. This one is 302 horsepower, so 100 horsepower more. But if I felt this 100 horsepower, unfortunately I did not feel it. Yeah, no matter how factory is going to tune this 4-cylinder engine and how many turbos they're going to install, you will never have a same experience as a V6 or V8 engines. So yes, they're trying to boost it, they're trying to pump it up, and for the environment and for the fuel economy, for the maintenance, yeah, all of those 4-cylinder engines are maybe okay, but it will never replace 300 horsepower as you get from V8. Never. So the dashboard, I like it. I did not like the feeling of the steering wheel. It was kind of too stiff for me. And my E-Class has an electric power steering. This one also has electric power steering, I'm pretty sure. I can take a look under the hood, but I'm sure it's all electric those days. But I did not feel the way it steers, and on the bumps, the way it shakes this entire vehicle. So on a higher speed, 70-80 miles per hour, yes, it was pretty stable, pretty strong. But no, I don't see any. I see a radiator coolant, which is for the probably battery, I'm assuming, yeah, and another one for the main radiator, and I see a DOT fluid and the washer fluid. So it's electric power steering, I guarantee, because I didn't see new vehicles with a hydraulic power steering for a while. Yeah, I guess this sport bar, AMG bar across, give you that stability on the road, but on the other hand, it's you lack in this independent suspension as my E-Class have. So plus my E-Class is on 18 size wheels, so it will a little bit softer than this anyway. Yeah, I like the transmission, I like the way it shifts. 8 speed, yeah, better than 7, obviously. I could feel the difference, but nothing beyond that. So I don't want to take your time. This is my personal opinion about this vehicle, and I am not going to trade in my E-Class yet until I find something that I like it, actually, because this particular vehicle I did not like, unfortunately. So this is it. One more that I wanted to mention about this front grille, which looks really aggressive, but on the other hand, I'm trying to get some light here so you can see more. Maybe it's too dark. Look at how big are those holes on that grille. So, which means that you're going to damage that radiator really fast, really soon. I mean, look at the size of the... This is like almost 3 inch wide by 3 by 2 square holes across this grill. So for example, let me compare it to my E-Class. Well, if you look at the E-Class, those fins are facing down. Every fin is facing down. So even if there's any rocks will be flying, you have a little bit of space to get in between those fins, plus they facing down. I hope that you understand what I mean by facing them facing down. And you don't have that much of a chance for the rocks to get in between those fins, unless it's a small rock like the size of my finger and damage radiator. So this is really cool design on the E-Class. But now look at this one. You can imagine that my almost entire hand, fist, go in between those. Look, the radiator is really exposed, and those plastic dividers, they are facing straight, they are not facing down, so they are not protecting that radiator from any rocks to get in and to damage your radiator. So this is another thing that I did not like it, especially on the bottom. This is crazy. Look at the, that's probably transmission cooler, I am assuming, and it's open. It just open, guys. 7-inch long, and I can put my hand and touch radiator easy. So you can imagine how big is the space on this lower radiator grill. Very exposed and extremely dangerous. Look, this is a brand new car, and look at the lower radiator. It's already been damaged on a brand new vehicle. So imagine what's gonna happen after 50,000 miles. You will have to replace both of those radiators in the future because of the design of this upper and the lower grill. So no, I don't like the design of that, and that's really important. Yeah. Final conclusion is, and again this is my personal opinion, this particular model deserves to be called AMG entry-level car, because it has a tuned suspension, brakes, exhaust, engine, pretty tight steering comparably to my E-Class. Well, that's why this one is a sport car, not a passenger sedan, even though this is a 4-door vehicle. And if I ever called it CLA 350, well, this is only CLA 35. They removed 0 compared to a previous generation CLA 250. So yeah, really nice turning radius, basically like it's supposed to be on a real Mercedes-Benz. You don't need that much of a space to turn around to make a U-turn. It is what it is. The steering wheel, I would say it's overcomplicated. Too many buttons, too many functions on the steering wheel that you can accidentally touch. But most of the vehicles those days, they have pretty much same issue, in my opinion. Display is really cool, really nice looking, very informative. I hope it's gonna last, not going to fail, because I can only imagine how much it's gonna cost to replace it. And without that display, you will not know how fast you're going, or you will not know the temperature, because everything is on that display. Even though there's a physical buttons on a HVAC system, but there's no little display on the top of the buttons like on my E-Class. Well, yeah, so it is a nice vehicle. I just don't see it myself as a driver on this vehicle for my family, for the long trips. So for this reason, I guess this would be better for people who like to drive with a more sporty experience people who like BMWs and Audis. And I rather see this vehicle as a coupe, two-door vehicle, not four-door, because the rear seats are kind of, you know, limited for a higher people. They will not sit comfortably unless two kids will be sitting on the back. So this is it. That's my little review. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll try to do a review on a 2025 E-Class. Maybe that car will fit